everyone. Welcome to At Home with Sally. I'm Sally Clarkson, and I have the biggest privilege in the world to be with so many friends from all over the world who join me every week to listen to my stories, inspiration, biblical encouragement, and I am just so glad that you're here today. Thanks so much for joining me. Hi, my friends. It's Sally Clarkson. Oh my goodness, I've got to turn up my microphone. I was, welcome to my podcast, A Tea Time Tuesday, which I really enjoy. And I just thought that I would, kind of fill you in on where I am and on my weekend and, catch you up. But this is going to be a short Tea Time Tuesday, I believe, because I am exhausted. I had so much fun being at Wild and Free, literally almost 1,000 women. I spoke, I signed books there was a line of hundreds of women. I don't know why they were so patient to stay to meet me. I was very grateful for them, but they stood in line for about 3 hours, and I stayed up way too late. I had meetings in my room. I met with friends. I spoke, and it was such fun. As a matter of fact, I kind of feel like, and I don't know if you're like this or not, but when I look at the past few years, I think that inadvertently I've kind of got used to suppressing my real feelings. I mean by that, I thought, okay, we can't have conferences. We can't meet sometimes at my house because people have COVID. It's going to be a little bit of a lonelier time. And when I actually got to Wild and Free and had so many people there after several years, I thought, oh my goodness, I was starving for fun and fellowship and women. And so it was really a delight to me. I wonder if some of you have felt like you've never quite made it out of COVID yet. That's kind of how I felt. I even returned to the U.S. and, for these few weeks and I've seen friends here and there, but I'm not plugged into anything regular at the moment in the U.S. And so I think I've been suppressing some loneliness because I've had lots to do and lots of work. And then it was just so much fun. So I would encourage every single one of you, if you have been feeling a tiny little bit, I don't know if empty is the right word, but maybe not sparkling inside, to shake it up a bit and do something really fun, like I was able to do this weekend. It was really fun. Okay, I want to read you this quote that somebody sent me online, and I just really appreciate it when people send me fun tea quotes. It says, "Tea is the magic key to the vault where my brain is kept." Tea is the magic key to the vault where my brain is kept. By Francis, I don't know how you spell the last name, or how you pronounce the last name. It's Hardinge. Francis Hardinge. And I was talking with my friends this weekend about the fact that I've been reading all of these when I walk. I do a lot on Audible. And I've been reading all of these World War II books accidentally. I mean, they're about that time or depression in different countries, different things, but a number of them have been in the UK. And it is so cute. You think that tea is a frivolous thing, or it's just something that sometimes people do, but I have been tickled to death because, there'll be some kind of a scene in a movie or a paragraph in a book, and someone will say, "Oh, so-and-so is pregnant. Let's put the kettle on." And then there'll be another scene where it'll say, "Oh, so-and-so had a baby. Let's have some tea." And then another one of my books said, "Oh, it looks like war is coming at any moment. Someone put the kettle on." And so someone put the kettle on. Anyway, and so when I read this, tea is the magic key to the vault where my brain is kept, I think there's something about tea for people all over the world, actually, in China and in the countries that the UK has had influence in, and in my house for sure. it kind of is a civilizer. It opens your brain. It gives you a chance to settle down. It gives you a chance to center. And so that's why we do Tea Time Tuesday, because I have so much fun with them. Anyway, but I think that today I am as tired as I can possibly remember being in a long time. After travel and sleepless nights, one of the things I just wanted to say to all of you precious ones who went to the conference this weekend, or to all of you who maybe in general do things like this. I have noticed we did conferences for about 24 years, 4 times a year at least. We would do it in California, and then in Colorado, and then in Dallas, and then somewhere on the East Coast, often in North Carolina. So we had a conference circuit that we did, that we would hire hotels and invite people in, and we would have these very busy weekends. But what I learned was that what goes up must come down. And so once you expend your adrenaline and yourself and your emotions and you get engaged in everything, and it's so much fun and so exciting, whatever that is, it might be a work conference for you. It might be a debate, something or another. It might be, I don't know, just a vacation or a weekend away. But I've learned that I always have to give myself grace on Mondays. I call it the Monday after Sunday blues, because your body is made to kind of be more in an even keel. And so I learned, especially when we were in church ministry too, that on Mondays, I gave myself grace. I gave my kids grace. I gave myself a chance to catch up. I gave myself, those were the paper plate days, or the I'm going to eat treats today and not worry about it days, because you'll get back to normal. But sometimes when you've had great events, then you have to have great grace for yourself and relaxation. So I did that for myself today. And I used to do it for my kids when we had conferences or when they had big events in their lives. But I got up and I thought, I don't think I can get up. You probably think I'm funny. You have to know that I am normally, for most years of my life, I would get up at 4:30 or 5 or 5:30, because that's when I wrote my books, so that I wouldn't take away from the time that I was given to my children. And even for a couple of different years, Clay would stay home. He would, the kids would get up and he would feed them breakfast. And I would go to a French cafe at 6 o'clock in the morning. And especially this one year, it was this wonderful place. It had little flowers in a tiny vase, had a little candle on, usually some classical music on, and it had wonderful quiche and the strongest coffee in the world. So I would eat my quiche all by myself with no one tasting it and drink my strong coffee. And then I would write for an hour and a half. And I did this about 2 days a week. And that's how I used to write books, early in the morning. And then I lived a normal life, except for a few weekends here and there when I would speak. And I limited even that a lot, because when I was raising and educating my 4 children and I had books to write, I had to be very careful to set boundaries and to say no to many things so that I could kind of keep the rhythm of my home going. And that was way before social media. So anyway, I'm going to tell you what I did today. So I got up. There's a sweet coffee shop near me called Wesley, Wesley, for those of you in Colorado Springs, Owens. And it's literally about 5 minutes away from here. And they have very strong coffee, and I know the owners, and they've become friends over the years. As a matter of fact, they moved here from the UK, which is interesting. But I called and I said, "Do you have a croissant?" And they said, "Yes." And so I slipped down the street in my car, and I took my own mug because I was bringing my coffee home. And I got a fresh croissant, and I came home. This is my recipe for the week. This is one of my favorite things that one of the French cafes in town had. And so what I did is I wrapped the croissant up and heated it in the oven while I was putting the other stuff together. I quickly grated some very strong white cheddar cheese. I like strong things. Maybe my taste has gone over the years. And then I stirred up a little bit of honey mustard with mayonnaise. You just stir up a little bit, whether it's a teaspoon or a teaspoon and a half or tablespoon, depending on how many people you're feeding, equal amounts. And then I chopped up some natural organic. Can ham be organic? I don't think it can be. But anyway, it had no hormones or anything. That's kind of my way. So I chopped it up and sauteed it in just the tiniest little bit of oil so it would be crisp. And you can do it in butter. And then I whipped up an egg, just one, because I was trying to limit my calories since I was having so many. So what you do is you open your croissant, and when I'm cooking my egg, I like to do it like a crisp European omelet, which means that I have a little bit of oil already sizzling in the pan. I throw my whipped up egg in, and I let it flow all over my crepe pan. And then when it gets a little bit brown and crispy, I flip it over and let it get brown and crispy on that side. And then I roll it into thirds so that it will actually fit onto my croissant. So croissant on the bottom, then my crispy egg, and then I put the grated cheddar cheese on top of that, and then I sprinkle the little chopped up ham pieces on top of that, and then I spread the honey mustard and mayonnaise sauce, I'll call it a sauce, on top of that, close it with the top of the croissant, and it is the best thing in the world. So I just sat and enjoyed every bite of that this morning. It was a treat to me because I don't have it very often, and I'm just kind of playing around today. But anyway, so that is my recipe for the day. The other thing I'm going to tell you is that I've been thinking a lot lately about one of my very favorite, and I've probably mentioned it to you before, but I thought I need to mention this again. There is a company called Sullivan Entertainment, Sullivan, Sullivan Entertainment. And Sullivan Entertainment is the production company that made the original, not the Netflix one, which I don't approve of, but the original. I don't like it as well as anyway. The original Anne of Green Gables that came out in the 80s. They produced this. And the whole company was committed to producing movies, television shows, historical shows. And then they're the ones who did 7 years of Road to Avonlea. They also produced Wind at My Back and period drama. And if you ever just want to have if you're tired of what's on television and you just want to have a controlled group of videos or movies for your family, and I would say because my kids grew up on it, they all love it still, and they like to still see some of the old ones. But I would say it's for younger children to teenage children, if you have grown up with just wanting kind of a fun show. They're well done. And so they do it on what they call gazebo TV, that you can put it on your phone, you can put it on your television, you can put it on your computer. And what it is it's a streaming program, but I'm telling you, you should go just look at it because there are so many movies, 7 years. When I was going through hard times or winter seasons like now, there were 12 inches of snow when I got home last night. It's melting slowly. But when you just need a break, you have that, your family will fall in love with the families on Avonlea, Tales of Avonlea. There are, just really fun episodes that I think you'll really enjoy. So it's Sullivan, Sullivan Entertainment, and they have streaming on what they call Gazebo TV. So anyway, that's a resource that I have used and that my kids still love it today, and they go to that. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to go to is, the funny thing is I had just downloaded this, and oh, that's funny. It went to a different thing. I had just downloaded this book and was going to start listening to it. And someone else recommended it to me. And so I thought, well, I'm going to start listening to that. It has 11,645 4.5-star reviews. And it was written by Madeline Martin, who was a New York Times bestseller. So I thought, well, that'll be fun to listen to. And it's called The Last Bookshop in London. And I haven't quite finished it, almost have finished it. Listened to it in the car and on the plane this weekend. But it's the story of, during World War II in London, the role that a bookshop plays in the life of a girl who's never really read books before, but she and her friend moved to London, and you have all sorts of stories about the war. It has a little tiny bit of sweet romance in it, but it's, for me, it's been kind of a reprieve, a relief sort of book. You know how sometimes you get into heavy books or theology or nonfiction, or you feel like a book has to tell you what to do. This one doesn't tell you what to do. It's just for enjoyment. It's just a sweet, nice, fun, good story. The Last Bookshop in London. So I thought you might want to know about that book this week. Well, I'm going to kind of end on something, just a thought that I've been having. And first of all, I want you to know that I had so much fun. Clay sent me a brand new little tiny microphone from Amazon to put on my computer while I was there, because I thought it would be fun to tape a lot of different women. And so I ended up interviewing a couple of the speakers I interviewed, and they interviewed me. And I, as you heard today from, you heard that I had taped a lot of people. A bunch of people came to my room for a fun little tea time to get to know one another, mainly people in my membership. And if I ran into someone who said, "Oh, I've always wanted to meet you the first night," then I said, "Well, come tomorrow at 4:00 to my room, and we're going to have a tea time to meet new friends." And it was just delightful, just to hear their thoughts and their hearts and some of the amazing stories. So in the next few days, I'm going to play some of these podcasts for you. One of them will be, I had some women who came up to me who said, "I love your membership. I want people to know what they're missing. I enjoy it so much." And so I thought, well, I'll do an interview with them to say, why do you like it and what have you gotten out of it? Because we have a forum where 4 of the women who came yesterday, who had moved from totally different places into a whole new state, met each other, made best friends, have a group. Another couple of people met a group from the forum and from our membership. That was really fun. People were just talking about it. So that'll be one of them. And then I have another really fun, it was a deja vu weekend for me, because I met a sweet young woman who I had known as a baby when I lived in Vienna. And she was there, and made me feel like I'm getting a little bit older. I guess I am. And so anyway, and then I have a friend who has a new book coming out that is an excellent book that you'll want to know. So just know that in the next few days, I might just put out a few more podcasts that you can just enjoy hearing sparkling opinions and thoughts and from women just like you, along with me. I'm interviewing them and have a lot of fun talking with them. And so keep praying for me, my friends, because I will be going back to Oxford next week, I think on Tuesday. And pray for me, because I am really asking God to provide me with a new home that will be just as accommodating to my Bible studies and people and friends and all the people that come through our ministry as my last ferry house was, because it was sold out from under us to the very first person who saw it. Of course, I knew it would be, because it's such an amazing, sweet, fun place. But I'm going back there next week. I don't have the final visa yet, so it's hard to get a home without a visa, but I might have the invitation of the visa. So pray that God will intervene for us and give us just the right home. And then I get to go to see Joy graduate. Because of COVID, we haven't been able, or St. Andrews hasn't had a real graduation for 2.5 years. So Joy actually gets to be a part of this for her graduation for her PhD, and I can't wait. I can't wait to go to St. Andrews. It's such a wild and beautiful place. I promise I'll take pictures. And then we have a couple of conferences to go to, but we also have to move out of one house into another house. And we're really hoping and praying that we won't have to put stuff in storage. And so if I haven't totally mentioned the story yet, miraculously, truly, I had decided I wasn't going to look for another visa because I love working with all of my friends all over the world. I love my friends in Colorado and in the United States, but I also love living near my children and having a missions. I love being with women from all over the world and being able to disciple them. And to make a long story short, a really wonderful friend of my family's ran into me in the middle of two busy streets. It was actually a median that we were standing on between two streets. I was going one way, he was going another, and a friend of Joel's and Joy's especially. And when he found out that our visa was about over, he said, well, what if we gave you a visa to have a position of mentoring and discipling and training young women who are in the graduate program or wives of husbands who are from all over the world in the graduate programs? We would love a mature woman to be there to disciple them. Well, that is just, for me, it's a return to what I did early in my life. And so Clay and I will be going back and forth trading situations. We've done this in missions for many years, so it's just a part of our life. But I have the opportunity to return to the UK to do some discipleship. I'll also be coming back here to the States. But so I never even sought out a visa. I was just handed this visa through this opportunity that someone challenged me to as I'm just going on a walk praying. So that is kind of what I'm up to. And it's a lot of moving pieces, so I would appreciate your prayers. But because of that, I may or may not get to do all of my podcasts in the next week or two. I try to do them anyway, just because if I stay in the rhythm of it, then I feel like hopefully you can be in the rhythm of it too. And I love having this incredible opportunity to come into your room or home or wherever you are, where we can share fellowship time together. I was thinking I'm going to end on this, and then I'm going to go have my cup of tea, my afternoon cup of tea. I was laughing with a friend this week who lived in the UK, and she said, "Oh, you are so typically British." And I said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "Well, all of my British friends started out with their strong cup of tea in the morning. Some people aren't as strong as me. I like strong cups of tea." And by the way, for many years I have, I take an aloe vera pill, but I'm not recommending that because there are two different kinds, two different sorts of aloe vera, and some of them really create havoc in your stomach, and some of them just put the aloe vera juice onto your stomach, and that's the one I take, and I don't know what it's called, but I've just taken it for years. I take that when I get up in the morning, and it lines my stomach with this just wonderful health and freshness, and so caffeine doesn't really bother me. But anyway, I can't even believe I told you that. I am not a physician. Do not do it unless you research it yourself. But anyway, it really is something that years ago I had read many articles that said that actually premature babies, which I was 2 months premature, sometimes have particular digestive issues that other people don't have. And so I learned how to work with my aloe vera to really settle my digestive issues. And that's why people always write me and say too much information, actually. But that is why I am able to drink the caffeine that I do. Anyway, back to the story. My friend said, "Oh, yes, all of my friends drink their tea in the morning, their tea and milk in the morning. And then about midway through the morning, they would have their coffee." Well, that's exactly what I do. And so, anyway, it's been kind of fun to see that accidentally I worked into the habit of my of some of the English traditions. But then I also have my one last cup of tea in the afternoon, you know. So anyway, really, that was too much information. Am I too tired? Should I not be doing this particular tea time? Oh, well. I was thinking about something that I'm going to end on today, and that is I have learned in the past little while, maybe the past few years, it's something I would love to pass on to some of you who are younger now. Don't wish your life away. Don't wish today away, like when all my children are out of diapers, or when my son finally graduates from high school, or when we get a new house, or when we get a better salary, whatever. Don't waste your days. Don't wish them away, because I really learned that when I practice engaging in the day that is at hand, when I practice looking at the human being who runs into my room, screaming, yelling, crying, laughing, whatever, when I look them in the eye and look at them as a real live human being that belongs to my family, when I get to be with a friend that I delight in, I was this weekend, two of my friends who kind of work closely with our ministry and have for many, many years, they helped me. They have traveled with me many years. They have taught Bible studies. They hand out books. They do all sorts of fun things. I was looking at them. We have a heritage for many years, and those years might end at some point. I don't know, but I was realizing as I look back on the past few years, a couple of things have happened to make me more astutely aware of the fact that whatever your day is, that is the day. That is the day to cultivate joy. Today, if you look at the photo that I have on my Instagram and on my blog, you'll see that I am pouring the most elegant copper, huge French press into a mug. Not long ago, when I knew that my visa was running out and I didn't know if I'd get to be back again on a visa. The reason you want to be on a visa is you can stay in the country a long time. But anyway, I panicked a little bit because my visa was running out, and I thought, oh, there's so many things I want to do and so many places I want to see. So in the midst of probably one of my busiest weeks in the whole spring, I called a friend ahead of time and I said, do you think that we should take at least one or two more adventures? Some of you know that my friend Jackie, my precious friend Jackie, helps me set up the chairs for my Bible study, helps me set up the tea and coffee, clean up, lead the discussion, do stuff. It's always nice to have a friend to do stuff with. And so I said, Jackie, let's try to fit in a couple of adventures together to go to a couple of unexplored places before I leave the UK. And because we do have so much fun together, we're the type that can giggle about the things we shouldn't laugh at and be together. And we both like to walk, and we both love our caffeine. So anyway, actually, she doesn't drink caffeine, but she does drink tea and coffee without it. So anyway, we started out in her car, and at first we were on a bigger road, the highway. And then we took a little sign. We were going by GPS, took a sign on a winding road that, it's one of those old roads that probably a hay wagon used to go down, that's barely wide enough for two cars, let alone one. And we happened upon a quiet village, but we knew that we weren't in the right village that we were looking for. So after a few moments of wandering around this quintessentially charming old village, it's kind of like coming into a movie set, and looking at these old houses and all of the plants and the flowers and the trees. And we kind of came upon this, it looked like a big old, place. It kind of had a big barnish look to me, but there were a bunch of cars in this little parking lot next to it. So we knocked on this, what seemed like a barn door, and eventually realized we could just open it. And we opened the door and stepped inside, and there were these lovely, surprisingly, this is in the middle of nowhere, tables that were set, beautifully set with cloth napkins and with a little flower, and there was a crackling fire sparking in this old rock, big rock, very old fireplace, and there were goats' heads hung above the hearth. I'd never seen that before. And the old room was charming, filled with antiques and lovely quaint tables. And so we pushed the hostess a little bit, and most of the tables were full, and we said, do you serve breakfast here? Could we have breakfast here? After a few minutes, the host came back and set up a quintessentially charming table for us. And we found out that this was a bed and breakfast. All the people had spent the night there, and we were kind of asking for something exceptional, which we didn't even realize. But we had the freshest, most beautiful gourmet breakfast, this incredibly grilled buttered toast with wonderful homemade jam, fluffy eggs with herbs, all sorts of excellent taste. I don't even remember all that we had. And then the magnificent, I don't even know what you call this, a cauldron? I don't know, a pot of strongly French pressed coffee with real cream. And so we just had so much fun. We took pictures, we pondered it and, what it had been before because it was very ancient. And so we explored this whole village. We walked around it. We saw the graveyard. We saw the old parsonage and just things that had been turned into different places. We ran into the most interesting older woman who had retired there and moved there from a very wealthy life in London. And so we just had so much fun. Oh my goodness, there is a fresh young deer at my front door, as though it's, no, don't you dare eat my lilacs. Stop that. I'm going to go pound to the deer so it'll be scared away. No. Okay, so that was a pause as well. I've had 3 beautiful young deers today. They may come, they may not eat my lilacs. My lilacs were beautiful last week. They were blooming, and then the snow came and bent them almost to the ground, so Clay had to tie them up yesterday. But anyway, the deer dare not eat what is left, because there aren't a lot left. So anyway, it was really lovely to commemorate a time again with my wonderful Jackie friend. And just like my visa had a time limit on it, and after that time limit, we had to leave the country and all of the things that we love in England. There was a time limit. That there are time limits on our lives. And just in that way, you have a time limit with your friends or with your loved ones, with that child today. That child is going to turn into a hormonal teenager someday. And I kind of want to encourage you to open your eyes to the glory of the ordinary days around you. This has been the most interesting 2 years for me, but I have lost 11 friends in the last 2 years, or 11 people in my life, and only one of them was my very elderly uncle, who's almost never been sick in his life, got COVID and died 2 days later. But all of the other ones, several of them were in their 30s, several were in their 40s, and 3 more were in their 50s. And these were people, and I don't know, is it because of all the stress in our lives, but several of my friends, 4 of my friends, literally, one of them had a brain aneurysm in one day and just died. 3 others found out that they had cancer and died within 3 months. And I don't know if it was the stress of their lives that kind of created an environment where cancer could grow, but we're all living stressful lives. And stress is really terrible for your life. And I noticed as I look back on my life, there would be times when I was waiting for a season to pass. And there is no magical time in your future when you won't have lots to do if you are engaged with your friends and family. I am constantly engaged with my adult children now. I'm very grateful to be, because they're my best friends, but I don't get to have them in my home in Colorado anymore. And I have to go to be with them. But I just thought, I kind of wanted to encourage you today to really think through, in the Psalms it says, as I've mentioned before, teach us to number our days that we might present to thee a heart of wisdom. Teach us to celebrate our days. This is the day the Lord has made. Because as I was thinking about my time with Jackie, as I was thinking about my time when I was developing this very strong tradition with my sweet granddaughter Lily, I had bought her a rattan, a straw little children's chair. I just couldn't resist it. And as you know, I told Lillian that whenever I stayed at her house, which I was staying more often in those days, I would go to her house and I said, you can wake me up at any hour that you want to so that we can let Mama and Daddy sleep. And Samuel and Lucy are now sleeping. And so we developed this habit of, I would make her this little cup of tea that she had. Hers was mostly milk with just a teaspoon of tea in it to make it look a little bit tan. A little sweetener. And we would sit on her little chair together. Or she would sit on her chair and I would sit in a big chair. I would light a candle and put on music. And I would say, this is the time where we get to be friends and we get to talk. You can talk to me about anything. And she would always say, tell me a story, Queenie. So I'm always racking my brain to make up stories about dogs, and I could make up a story about the deer who almost ate my lilac off. Anyway, we developed this habit because I wanted in her little brain pathways for her to have a sense that her grandmother was somebody who loved her, who took time with her, who really focused on her. And then I wanted her to believe that God was that kind of a God, the God who would give her time, the God who would love her and listen to her. And so, unfortunately, it ended too abruptly because when COVID hit, instead of just being able to make one change on a train, it was almost too difficult to go because it took over 3 hours to get there. I had to change trains. I had to ride 7 trains. And so we were cut off even from being able to get on the trains at times because of closures, because of COVID. They had a difficulty getting to our house as much. So I didn't get to see Lillian all the time to do the tea times. And so I'm so glad that I look back on the times that we did have, to build into those little pathways of her mind, the love that I had for her. And not too long ago said, Sarah, do you know what, Mama, do you know what? Sarah said to me, Mama, do you know what Lillian said to me? And she said, I think that Queenie is my best friend because she listens to me and takes time with me. And so, my friends, this is a season today to get in the habit. I know you've got work to do. Your work will always be there. Do it systematically. Get your children to help. But don't run through your days looking forward to some day when you're actually going to sleep. But look at this precious time as a time in which you can love and cherish those who are right in front of you, because there will be an ending point where you will not be able to do it anymore. So anyway, I hope that you have a good week. Thank you for your patience. I came home. My family is regularly breaking or cracking teacups because we use them all the time. I have a couple of new teacups that I'm absolutely thrilled about. Thank you, my friends. I came home with some treasures that people were so sweet to share with me. And I have a new bird, a new bluebird. And I think I might just take it back with me to Oxford because, as you know, birds are always a symbol to me of God's presence in my life. So our membership is really going to do some wonderful things this summer. It's kind of fun. For those of you who have signed up for my email list at sallyclarkson.com, I'm going to do my new book cover reveal, and I'll be having some giveaways there that'll be really fun. So be sure to sign up at sallyclarkson.com. And just know that after this weekend, I thought, I just don't know how much better life gets. I mean, I don't know how I get to be a part of a community of what I'll call my inner circle friends. You, many people who listen to the podcast, I feel like we are friends who share common values, and I do care for you and I do pray for you. And I just want you to know that I am more deeply grateful for you than I just ever have been. It was just such a a blessing to see that there are women all over the world who come together in this Tea Time Tuesday and come together as friends. So let me pray for you. Dear Heavenly Father, I realize this weekend again how good it is for me to be around a variety of different people, different ages, different lives, different stories, and to hear their unique stories that my heart can be enhanced. Thank you for this last weekend, but thank you too for all of these precious ones who come to my podcast. Father, I pray that this in the next few months that your Holy Spirit will be refreshing, restoring, renewing. So many women carry in shoulders so many pressures, whether it's from sleepless nights with babies or prodigal teens or difficult marriages or health problems. Father, it's such a broken place, and that's why you came to redeem it. But we need your strength, your love, your grace, your patience, your gentleness. So bless my precious friends today with a sense of your presence right there in their homes. Give them eyes to see beauty. Give them peace that passes understanding, and help them to know that they are not alone. We love you so much, Lord, and we just give our lives to you. In Jesus' name, amen. Well, my friends, thank you so much. I hope that you have a really good week, and I'll be releasing some of these podcasts day by day. Let me know what you think and what you want me to talk about, and know that I care deeply for you who are listening to this today. Bye-bye. I hope you've enjoyed our time together today and that you'll join me next week. Be sure to look for more inspiration on my blog at sallyclarkson.com. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.